Gato Roboto, a game made by people like me, for people like me.
If you've ever played a Metroid game and thought to yourself, man, this game would be way better if Samus was a cat, well, you've just found the perfect game for yourself. One might say it is the shameless ripoff of the old Metroid games. I mean, spaceship in the intro? Check. Things that crawl on the wall that you can shoot your blaster gun at? Also check. Jumping toads? Check. But is this game really a Metroid clone? If it doesn't have these bubble doors, I mean, bubble doors make or break a game. Check. Sweet bubble doors. And when we're talking about upgrades and mechanics, this game's even more of a clone of Metroid. But despite all of this, it never feels like a ripoff. If anything, this game just feels like a devoted tribute to one of its favorite games. The story follows the ventures of Kiki and her owner Gary. Gary gets an odd signal from a research facility and decides to go check it out when Kiki inadvertently steps on this random button because, well, she's a cat, and then BAM! Crash land right into the planet. But you can't get mad, because it's a cat. Now Gary, from the whole crash land thing, he got injured, so he can't get out and check and see what this emergency signal was all about. So what does he do? What any responsible cat owner would do, send the cat in his place to go check out and figure out the problem. Now, you can't just send the cat out there on its own. You gotta equip it with a mech suit first, and that's exactly what he does. I mean, it's every cat's dream. Oh yeah, she's loving it. Today is her day. As Kiki explores the planet, there are essentially three main areas while trying to figure out exactly what is going on at this research facility. First, we have the Nexus, which is a pretty traditional level. Then, we have the Aqueducts, which allows Kiki to swim around this cat submarine. Looks like it's straight out of Mega Man. Maybe Metroid wasn't the only inspiration. Next up, we have the Heater Core. Now, the Heater Core is so hot that Kiki cannot leave the mech suit. Now, generally speaking, there's a boss at every single one of these levels, and they're all the same, except for the Heater Core boss. Every single level ends with a progressively more talkative mouse, which we'll get to in a bit. But the different versions and upgrades to his suit make each mouse battle feel entirely different, and they advance the story. Each of these levels themselves are unique and very linearly designed unless you want to explore and find these bonus items. And what cat wouldn't want to find bonus items? The bonus items in this game range from weapon upgrades and health kits to different types of cartridges. The health upgrades and weapon upgrades made for a very satisfying hunt, but finding a cartridge was always pretty disappointing to me. All it did was allowed you to change the game filters to a variety of different colors. Some colors were like urine. Are we sure that was meant to be a bonus? I mean, who wants to play a game that looks like urine? Anyway, collect enough of these cartridges throughout and it does allow you to cash them into your one frog friend for some cool weapon upgrades. For some reason we don't kill this frog like the rest of them. I'm going to say it's because Kiki has a soft spot for glasses. Okay. But item-wise, the weapon upgrades in general were always the most exciting because it not only added to the abilities of what your suit could do in battle, but also opened up new ways to explore past locations to find new areas and items. But in every level you were in, the map would always alert you to a hidden area so you had a general idea of where you were searching for the bonus items at. Imagine if this was how you got through life. You're just driving down the road one day with your GPS and it alerts you to where hidden items might be. With these new weapon upgrades, you continually had to fight the original mouse over and over, each time in new suits and more challenging. This mouse was important, so important that it wasn't even a mouse at all. It turns out it was just a crazy old scientist trapped in a mouse's body. But how does that make actual mice feel? Can't they be important enough to have an actual role as a supervillain? I would be hurt. So it turns out that the evil imposter supervillain mouse just simply wants to transfer its mental state into the body of Kiki's owner, Gary. And in turn, it also wants to transfer the mental state of its dog, Barkley, who's not doing so well, into the body of Kiki, the cat. Now, I can get not being able to say goodbye to a pet. So, when it comes to pet mental state transfers, I'm sort of on the fence. Now, after an exhaustive evil imposter supervillain mouse and mech cat dialogue, you finally get to fight against the mouse inside Gary's body inside of a robot suit. But after you defeat that, you do get to go against the mouse 101 in Gary's body. And just when you think you're about to win, his health is all the way down. He does some sort of super move that you can't block, and bam, that's it for Kiki. Kiki, it seems like the end of the road. Unless somehow Barkley breaks free, which he does, and then takes down the evil imposter supervillain Gary, and Kiki and Barkley together escape. And as they escape, they get into their little rocket ship, and off they go. Rest in peace, real Gary. The game barely knew you, and you got killed off so unfairly. As the game comes to a close, it does allow you to do a free roam in what is your new home, the rocket ship. And it's sort of cool here. You get to go through about 5 different rooms and see what everybody's up to. It'd been nice if they would have let you gone back through the game and collected some of the items you missed, but the way the storyline worked out, that wouldn't have made a lot of sense. But as we look at the game as a whole, it took about 5 hours to complete, and honestly, this was the perfect length for this retro style game. And style is truly where the game nailed it. The visual style of the game knows its audience so well. All the character models are cartoony, full of expression, and add a lot of the welcoming nature to this game. Even the dialogues back and forth between Kiki and Gary and all the enemies, it's so charming. And there's just so many special little moments, like here, where Kiki's expression says, "I definitely don't want to get in that water," because she's a cat. And then all of a sudden, Gary out of nowhere decides to do this little spook move that scares Kiki directly into the water. I don't know. It's just little stuff like this that's really enjoyable when it comes to the game. Or like in the next scene here, when you're in the heater core and you defeat the first boss and then you're going to defeat the second boss, he gives you a dialogue here about how his brother never got a chance to grow a mustache. And just the idea that a heater core even has a mustache, I don't know. It's just a dialogue and it has a lot of charm to it. There's so many things to truly enjoy about this game. It has a ton going for it. And honestly, it's one of the best digital games that I've played on the Switch. The difficulty was perfect for its lighthearted nature. The level design is not overly complex, but adds just enough puzzle to keep you thinking as you go. The bosses were well designed in a very similar way. Not super easy, but once you learn their patterns, you were in great shape against them. Overall, this game may be a product of a ton of lifting from the old Metroid games, but it stands on its 2 feet so well, and has created a very unique, charming, and honestly, just a really fun game to play. I'd highly recommend it.